Breaking: FBI informant has just been revealed in the biggest scandal in recent U.S. history. We are now receiving reports that back in 2013 Carter Page was working as an undercover employee for the FBI. It seems that he was assisting the FBI in building a case against Evgeny Beryakov. We now know that in March 2016, Page was an FBI informant, which led to a guilty plea from Beryakov. In 2013, the U.S. Department of Justice, Southern District of New York, officially indicted a Russian operative, Evgeny Beryakov. Preet Bharara, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and John P. Carlin, Assistant Attorney General for National Security, announced that Evgeny Beryakov, A/K/A Zhenya, pled guilty today to conspiring to act in the United States as an agent of the Russian Federation, without providing prior notice to the Attorney General. The FBI obtained the recordings after Sporishev attempted to recruit an FBI undercover employee, US1, who was posing as an analyst from a New York-based energy company. In response to requests from Sporishev, US1 provided Sporishev with binders containing purported industry analysis written by US1 and supporting documentation relating to US1's reports, as well as covertly placed recording devices. In 2016, Reuters published a story based on the ongoing court case explaining court records and how the FBI built their case against Beryakov. Reuters went on to detail the FBI US1 undercover employee, with sharp detail. New York, Reuters: the FBI eavesdropped on meetings involving Russian intelligence personnel in New York City, including the suspected spy posing as a trade representative, by hiding recorders and binders containing supposedly confidential information about the energy sector, U.S. prosecutors said. The hours of covert recordings from 2013 were disclosed in papers filed in Manhattan federal court on Tuesday in the case of Evgeny Beryakov, a Russian citizen who U.S. prosecutors say posed as a banker while participating in a Cold War-style spy ring, according to prosecutors. In April 2012, Sporishev met an undercover FBI employee posing as an analyst at a New York energy firm at an oil and gas industry conference. Over the next 2 years, they met to discuss the industry and other economic and political issues, prosecutors said, with Sporishev providing gifts and cash for information. In 2013, the FBI employee began providing Sporishev with the binders containing purported industry analysis he wrote, supporting documents, and covertly placed recording devices, prosecutors wrote. April 2017. The New York Times, while writing a story about Carter Page and at the same time trying to set up the fake Democrat-created Russia collusion narrative, outlined Page's connections to the Trump campaign. And at the same time, they also went on to references Page's prior link to the Beryakov case. If you ignore the narrative, you discover the US1 description is Carter Page. Russian intelligence operatives tried in 2013 to recruit an American businessman and eventual foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign, who is now part of the FBI investigation into Russia's interference into the American election, according to federal court documents and a statement issued by the businessman. The businessman, Carter Page, met with one of 3 Russians who was eventually charged with being undeclared officers with Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, known as the SVR. The FBI interviewed Page in 2013 as part of an investigation into the spy ring, but decided that he had not known the man was a spy, and the Bureau never accused Mr. Page of wrongdoing. The court documents say that Mr. Page, who founded an investment company in New York called Global Energy Capital, provided documents about the energy business to one of the Russians, to record their conversations. The FBI inserted a listening device into binders that were passed to the Russian intelligence operatives during an energy conference, according to a former United States intelligence official. Consider the Times article from 2017 against the backdrop of the Reuters article from 2016. Now take into consideration the DOJ release from 2016. It is more than evident that Carter Page was the undercover employee for the FBI back in 2013. Carter Page was working for the FBI. Page was the analyst from a New York-based energy company who began providing Sporishev with the binders. In 2017, the New York Times used info from a former intelligence official, alludes to the narrative that the FBI/Page connection. The NY Times attempts to change the entire relationship between Carter Page and the FBI. On October 21, 2016, the FBI claimed to a FISA court to gain a Title I surveillance warrant, and that Carter Page was working on behalf of a foreign government against the U.S. Carter Page was working for them as an FBI undercover employee in 2013 and remained the primary FBI witness through May of 2016. Was Page working as an FBI undercover employee who was responsible for busting of a high-level Russian agent in 2013? Was he still an employee throughout the court case until May of 2016? How can it be that on October 21, 2016, he was put under a FISA Title I surveillance warrant as an alleged Russian agent when he was allegedly working for candidate Trump? Perhaps he wasn't working for the DOJ or the FBI, and they knew he wasn't. The DOJ, NSD and FBI possibly lied to get the warrant. Conservative Treehouse reports. The entire FISA Title I surveillance authority over Carter Page was cover, most likely retroactive cover, for the DOJ and FBI conducting surveillance on the Trump campaign. The DOJ National Security Division and FBI Counterintelligence Unit didn't care about Page because to them he was a useful tool. It wasn't Page they needed, per se, they just needed someone, anyone, who had contact with the Trump campaign that they could apply the label foreign agent upon. The DOJ/F.B.I. just needed someone they could position to gain the FISA Title I surveillance approval that would retroactively make all prior campaign surveillance legal. Who Carter Page was simply checked the right boxes. Page wasn't a plant, or a participant, he was a useful body upon which they could attach a label to justify their surveillance and monitoring. Nothing more. Carter Page testified to the House Intelligence Committee that DOJ-FBI officials leaked his identity, his role in the Baryakov case, to the media. This is secondary and direct confirmation from Page himself that he was indeed the FBI's one.